Sage Capital, Pokemon Biological Researcher Oren, designation the Professor. This is Expedition Kaleidoscope Debrief number 0362. We've been on the anomaly for about 8 days now, and the rest of Sage is getting restless. We've explored this coastal zone in its entirety, and it may be time to start trekking inward toward the dense jungle. Due to the hard work of the rest of the Sage members, the beachhead has become quite the home base. The walls were finished yesterday, so we are protected and safe. For now. And we got a comms tower up, but we have not been able to confirm that any of these transmissions are reaching outside of the buffer zone. However, we have been able to communicate just fine within the island's barrier. The Pokemon we discovered earlier have been an integral part of getting things going so smoothly. Even Oddish has been suspiciously docile these past few days. Preparations are being made for a squad to scout the inner jungle, however, I insisted that they take me with them. I don't care how dangerous it may be. Before we head inland, however, I thought it necessary to inform you of a few new species that we've encountered over the past week. I set up a small station near the rocks on the coast. As I peered through my scanner, I thought to myself, even now, is any of this even real? My eyes and mind quickly settled on 2 scrawny grunts team carrying a wooden crate near the gate. Likely provisions, fruits, and flora gathered from the nearby groves. I watched as a small round Pokemon lazily sauntered out from under a nearby bush toward the 2 grunts. Neither of them noticed that it had stopped just at their feet. The Pokemon, without warning, flicked a rock just behind the grunt who was walking backwards. Perfect aim. Without fail, the grunt's heel caught the rock and immediately tumbled backwards. Before he could hit the ground, the Pokemon quickly got below him and extended 3 pairs of what looked like some sort of spines from underneath its fur. The grunt's rear made contact. I saw the poor lad cradling his backside before the blood-curdling scream reached my ears. I couldn't help but laugh. The crate burst open on impact, causing a myriad of fruit to tumble everywhere. The other grunt started laughing but didn't see that the Pokemon was readying another attack. The grunt opened his eyes just as 2 spikes whizzed past his head. The grunt hit the ground and ran on all 4s to his buddy, pulling him up off the sand and carried him into the compound. The Pokemon wasted no time making its way to the wreckage, gorging itself on the remains of the crate, looking very pleased with the outcome of its heist. I lowered myself from the rocks and made my way over to observe the new species up close. Pindozi, the pressurized Pokemon. This species exhibits a calm and indifferent demeanor regardless of its environment. Pindozi does not appear to register threats or social tension, often taking food or space from other Pokemon without hesitation or intent to provoke. Its behavior is not antagonistic. Rather, it acts without concern for consequence, a trait likely reinforced by its natural defenses. Beneath its soft outer coat lies a dense layer of muscular tissue that stores kinetic energy. Its body is heavier than expected for its size, and physical impact triggers the immediate release of sharp spines. These quills eject with enough force to embed into wood and soft stone, immobilizing anything caught in close proximity. I observed one of these Pokemon discharge its entire payload of spines during a food-induced coma. It did not awaken during the event. 3 of my lab assistants were sent to the medical wing. I was a few hours into a long watch, nestled in the crook of an old root system along the edge of the jungle. The canopy above filtered what little starlight the mist allowed through. The ground below was quiet, unnatural. Even the nocturnal chirps of the local bug types and the distant chatter from the sage base had faded into silence. I remember thinking, was something watching me? Or had everything else simply gone still to watch something else? And then I saw it. And at first I mistook it for a discarded fruit husk, some half-rotted gourd left behind by scavengers. 2 amorphous arms, thin and translucent, slipped from the sides of the hollow shell. The Pokemon gently swaying side by side, its body sloshing slightly in its container, as if dancing to a rhythm I couldn't hear. As it turned, I saw its face, simple, smiling, a soft orange glow radiating a calm, almost joyous light, and I couldn't look away. A minute passed, or 5. I honestly couldn't tell. Every time it shifted, I felt a strange warmth in my chest, like a nostalgia for a place I'd never been. My breathing slowed, my mind, usually a cacophony of hypotheses and notes, had gone strangely quiet. I only snapped out of it when a drop of condensation from a branch above struck my cheek. I realized I had been crouched, frozen, staring at it like a fool. My muscles ached, my mouth was dry, and still it swayed. It hadn't moved from its spot. It hadn't even noticed me. I watched it for a while longer from a distance, took a few photos. Eventually it simply turned and swung away off into the jungle, trailing a soft light behind it. I don't believe it ever saw me as a threat, or a friend, or anything at all. But for that brief moment, I'm certain something inside it looked at me, and whatever it was smiling. Larvalus, the glowworm Pokemon. This is by far the most alien species of Pokemon I have ever encountered. Its body is composed of some sort of elastic slime housed in a brittle exoshell. Its bioluminescence is able to light up a large room, not unlike a powerful lantern. This Pokemon has no problem drawing a crowd, keeping the audience in awe of its brilliant light display. This may be the catalyst for its seemingly positive mood. It may be unaware of the effect that it has on living organisms in its immediate surroundings. Looking at a Larvalus can have a calming effect on the mind, but staring at its smiling face for too long can cause a sense of overwhelming dread. It seems to be having an emotional dampening effect on anyone who has recently come in contact with it. Oddish is strangely enamored by its calming glow. It may be dangerous to keep this Pokemon in the base. I just returned from a fruitless morning on the southern beach when one of the younger grunts, Juno, I think, came crashing out of the tree line, pale and breathless, already mid-sentence. He said he saw something. No, someone, and it talked. Claimed it said my name. I dismissed it at first, too much sun, not enough sleep, but his eyes, wide, unblinking, stopped me. This wasn't confusion, this was fear. The kind that comes from seeing something you shouldn't have. He'd been throwing rocks near the jungle's edge, waiting on his partner, when he spotted it. A small black Pokemon on a low branch, perfectly still, almost invisible. But when the light hits its feathers, they shimmered, violet and green like oil on water. It just stared, and when he moved closer, it tilted its head and spoke. Not clearly, a garbled mimicry, but among the fragments, one word came through. Oren. By then I was already moving. Juno scrambled to keep up. We found no tracks, no feathers, nothing, but I believed him, because I felt it too. The presence watching, always behind me, never there when I turned. What I know. It's avian, possibly flightless, small, quick, acutely aware. Its plumage refracts light, could be defensive. Juno mentioned a sweet chemical scent just before it spoke, possibly a hallucinogenic particulate. It knew my name, not his, not anyone else's, mine. That part unsettles me more than I care to admit. There's been no physical evidence found of any human presence in the area aside from Sage, so the real question isn't what is this thing, it's who taught it my name. I was just about to turn back and go report the incident to the captain when a bright flash of yellow and red caught my eye. Paratoia, the viewfinder Pokemon. Paratoia is just a small glimpse into the mysteries of the anomaly. After questioning every Sage member, none of them can recall coming into contact with this Pokemon, so either they are lying to me, or what's more likely is that this Pokemon can alter information through the use of memory manipulation. Paratoia secretes a hallucinogenic oil that covers its feathers as a defensive tactic against predators. When sunlight hits this oil, it creates a blinding flash and a pleasant aroma. This Pokemon has a photographic memory and can track and locate anyone or anything that it has seen before, faster than any satellite system. This Pokemon has been silently recording our every maneuver since arriving on the anomaly. But for what purpose? Is this just instinct or is something more nefarious going on? For now, my suggestion is that we catch every Paratoia that we can find and use them to our advantage as remote surveillance, at least until our mission on the island is concluded. After review and some back and forth with Captain Ayana, she approved the use of Paratoia for controlled observation in isolation. At the same time, she ordered the immediate confinement of Larvalus. Its bioluminescence had begun to influence surrounding Pokemon behavior in erratic, concerning ways, and she wasn't wrong. One Pokemon in particular had grown especially fixated on it. That Oddish, the anomalous one, the Spitter. It had posted up near Larvalus's chamber ever since we moved it indoors, just standing there for hours at a time, staring, jaw slack, roots twitching. When security came to take Larvalus away, Oddish started barking again, louder than usual, like it was screaming at us in some primitive dialect no human could possibly understand. And then it burst. The change happened so fast we barely had time to trigger the alarms. It was evolving. The leaf crown had ruptured, replaced by a thick tangle of soil-caked tendrils that smashed through the temporary fencing. Its skin went raw, almost inflamed, and it swelled to nearly quadruple its original size. The reek was instant. It smashed the nutrient tanks first, and then the floodlights, and then the western entrance gate. The whole compound trembled as it began driving its roots into the foundation, causing deep soil shifts. I watched a storage module sink into the earth like it was in quicksand. We've contained Pokémon, we've relocated predators, but this thing isn't a wild creature. It feels like a personal grudge given form. That Oddish hated us, hated what we did, and when it evolved, it didn't run off into the woods. It stayed, and it started wrecking everything that made this base our home. Ogreroot, the riot weed Pokémon. As I had assumed, the evolution of the Anomalous Oddish is no less disrespectful, only now it's nearly 5 feet tall and capable of ripping the foundation out from beneath our camp. Ogreroot's flowering crown has rotted into thick, dread-like tendrils, knotted with dirt and gravel. Beneath the mass, its pink hide glistens like raw muscle, and its eyes carry a permanent glaring scowl. 2 of its tendrils act as clubbed limbs, swollen with hardened root mass. It slams these into the ground with enough force to rupture stone. During feeding, the roots burrow deep, draining nutrients with such efficiency that the surrounding soil becomes completely barren and dangerously toxic. Highly aggressive and territorial, Ogreroot is quick to anger and slow to forgive. It doesn't stalk intruders, it charges. Signs of its presence include twisted dead trees, trembling ground, and the distinct chemical rot it leaves in its wake. Notably, it still refuses to acknowledge my authority. The sand hadn't even settled when it appeared. No footsteps, no warning. Just a pale figure standing amongst the wreckage, framed by falling dust. I didn't see it arrive. It was simply there, calm and unmoving, its long white hair split at the center, parting just enough to reveal a sliver of jade-green light behind its eyes. Even Ogreroot froze. For the first time since the attack, Ogreroot hesitated, confused, but the moment passed and it lunged, and the figure stood defiant. The pale Pokémon didn't strike first. It dodged, seamlessly flowing from stance to stance, every movement deliberate. It fought with all 5 limbs, hands, feet, and its long ringed tail ending in a clenched blue fist. That tail wasn't just a weapon, it was an anchor, a spring, a shield. And then the sound vanished. I don't mean quiet, I mean gone. No wind, no waves, even Ogreroot's bellows were silenced. A pressure field had settled around the battlefield like a dome, and within it the few remaining sounds rang out with stunning clarity. My pen against the page was a blade drawn across flesh, each step, each strike, thunderous in the silence, flesh meeting fist, rocks cracking from the pressure. The mysterious Pokémon fought without aggression. Every strike was precise, never cruel, never excessive. It let Ogreroot exhaust itself, turning each attack aside, redirecting energy until one final motion dropped the beast flat in the sand, subdued, still breathing. Defeated without injury, the battle ended before it ever truly began. The Pokémon stepped back into the stillness. No roar, no pose, just silence and purpose. It didn't acknowledge the crowd of stunned sage grunts now watching from the tree line. It didn't even glance at me. This wasn't dominance, it was balance. Primeape, the restrained Pokémon. Primeape is the apex Pokémon of the Daydrift Shore, one that emerges only when the equilibrium of the environment is under threat. This Pokémon does not announce its arrival, it simply appears, silent and stoic. Conflict ends shortly afterwards. Primeape fights using all 5 limbs, including a ringed tail tipped in a clenched fist. Its movements are impossibly fluid, focused on counters and redirection rather than brute force. It also emits a strange suppression field that completely nullifies any vocalization within a tight radius. The result is a suffocating silence broken only by fists colliding or sand shifting underfoot. This seems to be how Primeape stays focused on the fight at hand. This Pokémon is constantly training in the jungle canopy, repeating advanced martial sequences with perfect precision. Primute appears to be suppressing its power, and despite its role as a keystone species, I can tell this Pokemon is holding back, and given its size and the zone it enforces, I have a suspicion that this isn't a fully evolved Pokemon. And that worries me. If this is the kind of power we can expect from the Pokemon on this island, we may be in more danger than I anticipated. I recommend that no one engage Primute. Observation only. We have more to learn from its silence than we ever will from confrontation. The Pokemon here are strange, elusive, and powerful. But the anomaly has given me only a small glimpse of the mystery that lies deeper inland. I reiterate that I have no confirmation that these transmissions are reaching anyone past the invisible barrier, and we have not received any communication from outside. At any rate, preparations to explore the jungle are almost complete, and my excitement is immeasurable. But creeping at the back of my mind, I can't shake the presence I feel at the edge of the jungle. Shadows dispersing every time I have the courage to look. Something or someone may be watching us. I don't think we're alone on this island. Regardless, I hear the clarion call of new Pokemon species awaiting me, begging to be discovered. Adventure calls, and I must oblige. Yo, what up? It's me again, just hopping in at the end. I wanted to say thanks to everybody who's been watching the videos and liking them and commenting. Y'all helped me hit my first milestone, which is awesome. 50-something subscribers. Let me check, actually. We're sitting at 55 right now. That's awesome. I'm glad you guys are liking the videos, checking them out. I wanted to ask y'all, which of the Pokemon from the Anomaly would you keep on your team? And which starter would you choose? Check out the last video somewhere around here to get caught up on all the Fakemon that we've been discovering on the Anomaly. Anyway, comment down below your thoughts and keep your teams updated down there as well. I think it's really interesting to see which ones you guys would like to have on your team. Make sure you go give my boy Navi some love. He's the mastermind behind all the music in the videos, and he's got like a ton of music on his YouTube channel. It's all incredible. Go take a listen. If you like it, tell him I sent you. Lastly, if you had a good time and you think I earned it, help your boy out. Leave a comment on the video, like it, share it. All links are down in the description. Anyway, that's it for me. I'll catch you all on the flip side. Peace.